Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I am going to be answering your most frequently asked questions about high ticket sales. I did a question box over on my Instagram, so I've got a bunch of questions here. I'll try and get through what I can. So let's just dive straight into it. Question number 1. What is the income range per month on commissions? This is a great question, and I want to preface that this really does vary from offer to offer. There's so many things that you would need to learn to ensure you are actually going to make the commission that an offer has promised you, or that you can actually live up to the expectations that the offer needs as a sales rep. However, just to give you a bit of a ballpark, typically the average appointment setter makes between 2 to 7k USD a month with a 1 to 2k base. So that base is like a recurring safety net, and then they'll get commissions a month. I'd say the percentage of commissions can be anywhere between like 1 to 5% per deal closed on average. And then the average closer typically makes between 4 to 12k per month USD. Can you earn more? Of course you can. I've done it. Many of my students have done it, but that is the average in the industry. Number 2 is, how do I actually find these high ticket jobs? Very good question. I have girls come to me who have never been in mentorship and have no idea where to find them, and I teach them. And then I have girls who come to me who have been in mentorship but have never been taught offer acquisition. Sales skill and offer acquisition need to go hand in hand. They are very important for consistent longevity. And no, that does not mean guaranteed placement, guys. That is learning exactly how to attract the best opportunities. I personally teach a 4-step dream offer formula within the Female Sales Accelerator that teaches the women in my program to find jobs with or without me. So that could be through my referrals and me helping them with offers, or attracting them through network that they have built. For you to be able to find the best opportunities, you will need mentorship, you will need coaching. So I'd highly suggest for you to ask your coach how to actually find these opportunities. Question number 3, how long does it take to get really good? I've been in sales for a few months now, and my close rate is up and down. I would say it took me around 6 months, 6 or 7 months maybe, to the point where I felt very, very competent. And that was 6 or 7 months on and off of working. It's very important to be in the ring, doing the job, not just doing role plays. I think close rate can vary with, if we're looking at external, close rate can vary with marketing, lead flow, team, etc. But if we're looking internal, close rate can depend on mindset. It can depend on how much you're training. Are you doing your core reviews? Are you constantly improving your skill set? Too many people, in my opinion, believe that once you're in a job within sales, that's it, you're good. You can just take your sales calls and you're good. But that's just the beginning. That's just when you're getting started. When my girls land sales roles, that is my favorite time, because that is when the real work begins, and my favorite work, which is sales training. So I would say if your close rate is very up and down, looking within, are you doing your core reviews every day? Are you assessing kind of your skill every day? Are you in a coaching program that can help you? If not, then I'd highly advise. Are you asking your team, the manager, etc., to review your calls? Are you actually being proactive to achieve better results? Because I'd say if you're in the industry, and again, take this with a pinch of salt, but if you're in the industry for like 6+ months and you don't have consistent results, consistent performance, then something is not right. Since I hit my first 50% close rate, it's never dropped below 50%. Even when I changed offers, it's always been 50, 60, 70, 80, sometimes even a little bit higher, but not all the time. 50 to 80 is where I sat very consistently. And that was because I was constantly training. So that would be my advice. Look at your whole process, see where you can improve. If your process is totally dialed in, maybe it's the offer, or maybe you're just not compatible with the offer. Question number 4, how do I know that I am ready to close deals? There's 2 sides to this. First of all, no one's ever really ready. But second of all, you want to make sure you've done these things before you go in. You want to make sure you've invested in a mentor and you're getting solid training. You know your frameworks, you know your scripts, you know what, why, when, what to say, why you're saying it, when you're saying it, and also how you're saying it. You're confident with who you are. You've done a bunch of role plays, a bunch of trainings, and you've really been practicing. And you feel you're as good as you can be without that real life practice. That is when it's time. For me, I had 3 months of appointment setting experience where I learned the process inside out. Aside from that, I was also doing private trainings for me to practice to be a closer. So when my time came, which was around 3.5 months into the industry, I felt ready as I could be. Sure, I was super nervous. I think my first month, my closing rate was like 23 or 24%, so not the best. But it was my first month, and that was the time for me to really start honing my craft, being in the ring, like I say, and starting to then develop my skill from there. Question number 4, I think. What does your typical day in the life look like? So when I was a closer, I assume you're asking when I was actually closing. Really, I would take as many calls as I could. Now, everyone's different. Some people want to work less and they're happy with less income. I wanted to be the best at the top of the leaderboard, earning as much money as I could. When I discovered sales and I realized that I was pretty good, I was like, right, I'm going to do everything I can to make as much money as I can and learn as many skills and develop personally as I could. So that was very much my mindset. So for me personally, I worked between 8 to 10 hours per day. That was when my calendar was open. There were some days that I had 10 hours worth of calls back to back. They were pretty terrible, very exhausting. And then I had days where I had a bunch of no-shows. So let's say if I was working American offer, I'd start work at 1 or 2. I'd finish work at maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. perhaps. That was because I was in the UK, so the time zone was different. And I would take calls. I would do call reviews. In that time when I had no-shows, I would do follow-ups. I'd dial my pipeline, that's a big one, to get more money in if I had a lower month that month, team meetings, etc. But on the other side of the coin, I could also just block off my calendar and go to the gym when I wanted. Or if I had a nail appointment, I could go and do that. Or I used to go and have coffee with my mum pretty frequently on a weekly basis, and I'd just block off my calendar to do that. The results you get is depending on what you put in. You get in what you put in, basically. You get out what you put in, I think I should say. So that is the mindset I had. Some weeks I was all for it, and other weeks I was just tired and I wanted a break. And that is the beauty of sales. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's about finding that right balance. Sometimes I didn't always get it right. I was a bit of a workaholic, still am, but I loved what I did. So to me, it didn't matter. My 5th question is, what course or training should I take? What is that first stepping stone? Well, if you haven't seen already through my YouTube and Instagram, I do run my own program for women looking to get into sales or women who are already in sales looking to make a transition to increase their income. It is called the Female Sales Accelerator. I have a bunch of case studies, testimonials on Instagram, YouTube, Trustpilot, so you can go and take a look. Sorry if you're a guy who asked that question. I couldn't quite tell on the Instagram handle. So it wouldn't be for you. But if you are a woman looking to get into sales, there's a link down below. You can book a call with me or my team and we can look at building a plan together. My approach is very much quality over quantity, one-on-one support to actually help you get real results. But aside from that, the first step is finding a mentor that you align with, that you can trust and that you are prepared to listen to because you like what they have achieved within their results as a closer. Remember that, as a closer, not just a business owner, because the lines can blur. So you can actually replicate and follow in their path. People can't teach you something that they've never done. So make sure what they're looking to do, they've done, or what you're looking to do, they've done. Question 6, do you use a different selling approach when you sell to women and sell to men, and how is it different? 100%. I actually use a different selling approach no matter who I'm speaking to, whether I've got an 18-year-old girl or a 50-year-old woman or a 25-year-old guy and an 80-year-old man. Like, I've had all of those in my time on sales calls. What I teach in my program, in a nutshell, is how I sell and what I teach. I teach the girls in my program how to discover and how to mold yourself to a person. In the first 60 to 120 seconds of a sales call, you should find out about that person, what they need, and who they need you to be for them, to help guide them to the best destination, to help guide them to make that change. So you're not just going to be this one size fits all. Do we follow a script? Yes. Do we follow our framework? Yes. Does that remain the same? 100%. But your demeanor, your tonality, the way you ask certain questions need to change. So quite simply, for a woman or a man, for a woman, I'd be a bit more smiley. I'd be a little bit more relaxed. I would challenge them, but in a softer way, to guide them and to encourage and uplift them to make a change and be the best version of themselves. Most of the time. Obviously, people are a little bit different and have to mold a bit differently, but that's quite a normal thing that I would do. Whereas if I was selling a man, I always like to say, I make them earn my smile. I'm not going to be super feminine, bubbly, super smiley from the get-go. They need to earn that smile so my status isn't lowered. And that's super important. Another thing that when I used to sell in my masculine energy back in the day, it was not the best time. I used to fight egos. So I'd be like, well, you need to change. Why aren't you doing anything about it? And like telling guys that they need to do X, Y, Z. Men don't want to be treated like that, especially as a woman. And I very quickly learned that I need to encourage and uplift. I need to nurture. I need to lead, but also nurture these guys to ensure that they feel respected and encouraged to make a step. Like I always say, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So we need to ensure they're telling us that it's what they want rather than us telling them. And that goes for men and women, but I found specifically for men, that's super important. And that is it, guys. That's a very short and sweet Q&A session for your most frequently asked questions. I get quite a few messages that you guys love the Q&As, so I will keep them coming. Thank you for sending your questions in. I'll see you in the next one. And like I said earlier, if you are a woman looking to get into sales, or if you're already in sales and you're looking to take your career and your income to the next level, there'll be a link in my bio. Take a look, book a call with myself or my team. We'll discuss what we do, we'll build a plan, and if it's the right fit, we can get to work. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.